Hi, I'm Megan.
I'm Colin, and this is Pet Sitter Confessional,
an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter.
Brought to you by Time to Pet and Pet Sitters International. When it comes to branding our businesses, many of us think of colors, logo, and font. But there is another aspect to branding our business, which is the photos that we use. Photos communicate so much. They do say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and even more so when we are trying to get a message across to our clients about our business, who we are, what we represent, and what our values are. So today, we're really excited to have Petra Losonczi-Kiss on to talk about branding photography and the importance of having that in our business and really nailing that from the get-go. Let's get started.
Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Petra Losonczi-Kiss, and I'm the founder of Petra Brand Photography. Now I specialize in pet businesses, which is a very niche photography. Basically, I have been a professional photographer for over 11 years, and I also have a veterinary background. I used to be a vet nurse and a head receptionist for many, many years. And working at the vet practice, I got to know the pet owners and then what they're looking for when they need a pet professional for their beloved animals. So I thought I combined these two knowledge, and then my business was born.
Well, that's really cool. So, you said you got into photography 10 years ago. What got you started?
So basically, believe it or not, I started as a photographer on a cruise ship. So I joined, a long time ago, as a photographer on a cruise ship with a couple of companies. And I have basically learned photography there. They had a mini photography college, and I have done that. And basically, I learned everything there on the cruise ship. I done mainly portrait photography there, and then later I got into wildlife, pet, and then even newborn photography.
So how would you describe your photography style, or what other photographers kind of influence you, or do you look to?
Because I'm very niche photographer. Yeah. I basically I did develop my own style. So, because obviously I know what pet owners are looking for, in when they're looking for a dog groomer or a pet sitter or a dog trainer or any pet professional. So I like to work around that need, and then how the pet business is, and then what kind of images they would need for their business. So I like to create unique images for all businesses.
Sure. Well, and so on that, we're talking here about branding, and when many of us think about branding, we think about choosing our colors, maybe a font and a logo, and I know for even myself, when we start thinking about pulling in photos for our brand, that can be. It's kind of confusing. So what role does photography play in our business branding?
Yes, exactly. People don't realize that how important photography is when it comes to branding. Everybody has usually their website and logo sorted, and then they don't think about the photography part. And branding is very important. So it's really not just about the logo and the website. It's the whole thing together. How you and your business come together. So professional images will actually make you a trustworthy and a professional business in your field. So your ideal clients actually like to see you in your business and not just some stock images, because if they see the stock image it just doesn't convert those images, if you know what I'm saying. So those images are like cold images. Sure. For clients. So they want to see the real person who is behind the business.
Yeah, it's those first impressions of, especially if you go to enough pet business websites, you'll start seeing some of the same stock photos come up time and time and time again, even in your own even in your own local area. So it just adds this level of authenticity, this genuine story that you're getting across with your photos. And as you said, it allows them to get a better idea of who they're working with and have a much better first impression.
Yes, exactly. First impressions are very important. People actually can process photos 60,000 times faster than words. So if they see a photo, then they can make a judgment much faster than if they read any kind of content. So, and then obviously people shop with their eyes open, and then they make decisions on what they see. And then this is true for pet businesses as well. So if they see a person, then obviously they can relate more to their problem. So it's definitely helping if you use images of yourselves.
Yeah. And you had that phrase there. I love that. People shop with their eyes open. So in your mind and in your experience, what are people looking for?
Well, it's definitely how you can help that pet owner. So again, if you a pet business that is very niche, and then you help in one specific problem, then obviously images of you solve that problem for that pet owner. So let me just say an example, like reactive dogs. For they're looking for a dog trainer for the reactive dog. So obviously they would want to go for a dog trainer who is, first of all, specializes in this, but then when they go to a website, then they obviously like to see that how is that person going to help them with their reactive dogs. And then the training process, if you show images of the training process, then that's obviously going to be a win there for the pet owner to decide if they want to book that service with that dog trainer.
Yeah, they get a better idea of, again, who they're working with, how those services are going to be rendered, and start building that trust, as you said, 60,000 times faster than a long paragraph describing your background, describing your certifications. Like all that stuff is important as well, but trying to bring that into those photos will really help pull them in.
Yes, exactly.
How do we bring our brand into a photo? Or I guess, that question of what makes a good branded photo?
Yes, so basically it's been a very tough problem that I've seen within the pet professionals, that either they are scared to show themselves, or even if they're ready to go out there and then have a picture taken, they just afraid, like they camera shy. So they afraid of what they have to do when it comes to a photo session. So I usually just tell my clients that they just have to be themselves. And again, I know it might be a tough one when a camera is pointing at you. But this is why I have even packages that will help you with this. So like I would sit down with my clients, and then we go do number of video calls and discuss the whole photo shoot minute by minute, so that they are comfortable on the day, and then they can be themselves on those images.
Have you heard about Time to Pet? Doug from Bad to the Bone Pet Care has this to say.
Time to Pet has made managing my team and clients so much easier. Our clients love the easy-to-use app and scheduling features, and our sitters love being able to have all of their information organized and easily accessible. My favorite feature is the instant messaging. By keeping conversations on Time to Pet, we are able to monitor our team and ensure nothing ever falls through the cracks.
If you are looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of this show can get 50% off their first 3 months by going to timetopet.com/confessional. Having that level of comfort, it is scary to get behind or get in front of the lens and start trying to show your true self and what comes across. How do you help coach people through that? How does somebody become more comfortable in front of the lens?
Well, one thing is definitely if we discuss the whole photo shoot so that there's no surprises on the day. So we would we will discuss the exact like location, and then what are we doing there, and then like discussing like if they are like, I'm just going to bring the dog trainer problem again in here, but then like what kind of training they're going to do, or like exactly what kind of images they are looking for in their businesses. So they obviously have a pool of content that they want to put out there, or they already have it out there, but then create images around that content. So yes, it's talking about it. It's going to make them feel more comfortable because they know what is happening. And then I'm not going to be a stranger on the day because they see me through video calls. So it's going to be a little bit more relaxing. And then on the day of the photo shoot, we actually have more fun around taking photos. So it's more fun than taking photos, actually.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds like it's building that relationship with the photographer that you're using, and just relaxing, right, and embracing who you are, and taking it slow, so that you can have fun and know that I like this is going to communicate. I want to make sure this communicates the proper message to my clients, and I want it to be me. So on that, like, does a branded photo always have to have like my face on it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I like to use all my photos with me included in it. On my own brand photos, I do have dogs involved as well, but I'm always with the dog. So I like to be present in my own brand. And I do recommend this as well for my clients because, again, I just cannot address this enough. Your clients want to see you. It's not enough for them to see a cute doggy on your website because that's not going to help them, is it?
Yeah.
So they want to see the real person to get to know that person, and then that's how you actually making the connection with that ideal client. So
it sounds like you can have photos that are on brand, maybe that have your colors or show different themes, but to really get that message across, like having your face in there is going to be the best thing possible.
That's definitely the best option. There are other sort of images that I branded photos that I create, but then again they are unique to your brand, but they won't have you in it. It's just like for some social media posts and then other bits and bobs that you can use those photos. They are called flat lays. I don't know if you're familiar with the term. It's basically a photo taken from up above of objects that you actually use for work. So let's say for a pet sitter, I would use like a bunch of keys and then cat toys and all that. And then it's arranged nicely, and then I take a photo from up above these items, and then you can use that photo, which again is unique to you because then you use those every day of your work.
And in those, you could include bits of your own personality. If you've got a cool keychain, I'm sure, you put that in there, or some photos or some your favorite tools. Again, thinking of this brand in a larger context of more than just the colors that you have present in the photo, but these objects that communicate part of your personality, that are going to instantly connect with your clients on the other end.
Exactly. And then again, it's going to be unique to your brand because then it's only created for you. I never use any sort of image for any other business, but just the one that it was created for because it is unique to that brand.
I guess that kind of gets into one of your favorite quotes here by Elliot Erwitt. The whole point of taking pictures is so that you don't have to explain things with words. That really sounds like this whole thing of how much can we communicate in this photo so that we can get that instant connection and don't have to worry about writing these big long paragraphs.
Yes, exactly. It's actually very good to put the relevant image to your words, so that people, when they read it, then they can relate to it right away because they're seeing an image of it, and then they actually going to remember it better by seeing an image of what they are reading.
I think I do need to ask you, as a photographer, are you a Nikon? Are you a Canon person? Are you an Olympus person? What do you shoot with?
Oh, yes, I am a Canon person.
Is that something, when we start talking about photos and brands and getting these photos, what are our options for getting those? Is that something that we always have to go to a professional for, or what can we do on our own to make some branded photography?
You can do some photos of your own, obviously. It's a bit more complicated for a person who doesn't know much about photography and then posing themselves. So if you need images urgently, then obviously you can do it yourself with your phone. But it's a little bit more complicated if you're not so good with photography and then you don't know how to pose yourselves and all that sort. So obviously, if you need it urgently, as I said, then you can do some photos of yourselves that you can post on social media. I don't recommend these photos on websites because they're actually not so good quality for a website, and then it's just going to make you look unprofessional if you use it on your website. So for social media, those photos can be good.
It sounds like it really is an investment in your business, in your brand, and worth the time to go and get some professionally done photos that you can use for a long time, right? It's not something you're going to do, or I guess you could if you wanted to, but it sounds like you can do this once a year, maybe once every other year, and get some good photography that's going to change with you and grow with you over time.
Yes, exactly. I do recommend at least once a year because obviously your business is changing, and then you might need new photos of your business, or you adding on some services, or adding on some new stuff or anything like that. So I do recommend a frequent professional photography done for your business. Yeah.
Well, and I think we've all encountered those profiles that have a headshot, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go meet this person, and it's like, oh, that photo was taken 15 years ago. Okay, or something, or their style has changed, or as you mentioned, they've added new services, so the feeling doesn't quite fit with the photo that they were trying to communicate.
Yes, I do see these businesses too and they have a headshot or just a regular photo that turns out it was taken 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it's not really the same person that you're seeing then.
Yeah. So staying on top of it, keeping it fresh, and using that opportunity to grow your vision as a business, and really it gives you, I guess, a good annual reminder of like, what is my brand? What am I trying to communicate? What do I represent as a business?
Exactly. It does help in your business as well, that where your business is going to. So definitely.
A question I had for you about the photography here. We're talking about brand, and we're also talking about messaging. What kind of things can, or I guess what kind of messages should my photos be communicating?
Your photos should be about you and about your work, to show your ideal clients that who you are and what you stand for, basically. This way, as I mentioned, you can build that know, like, and trust factor with your clients, and people see who they are going to work with. So it's going to be an easy decision for them that they want to choose you.
Again, putting yourself there so that they know who you are.
Yes. It's like every big brand that you see, not necessarily pet related, but any sort of big brand that you see, that if I tell you a big brand like Virgin, like you already know who is behind Virgin, and then you know the person, and then he's out there promoting his brand, and that's a world-known brand, and then you still know who is the CEO of that brand. So if you take an example of that, then no matter how big or small your business is, then this is what you should be following as well.
Are you a member of Pet Sitters International? PSI is the largest educational association for professional pet sitters and dog walkers, with a mission to promote pet sitting excellence through education. After the tumultuous past year, having the support of a strong community and direct access to educational resources and business tools is more important than ever before as we rebuild our businesses in 2021. PSI is here to help. With a free monthly member toolkit, monthly bonus resources, online trainings, private member group, and more, combined with group rates on insurance and background checks, PSI is the one-stop shop for everything you need for your pet sitting or dog walking business. As an educational association, PSI believes that if you know better, you'll do better, and invites you to join thousands of other like-minded professionals who are committed to offering the best possible pet care services and elevating our industry. If that sounds like you, visit petsit.com to learn more. Our listeners can save $15 off their first year membership by using promo code PSC15 at checkout. Thinking about just differences in brands, because many of us think about, okay, my brand wants to get certain feelings. It wants to elicit certain emotions from my clients. How do you take that into account when you're going to create a branded photo?
It's actually, I recently had a client, and she was very specific that she wants happy photos, because it actually was in her brand name as well, happy. And she just wanted happy photos because she's a happy person herself. So actually it was really, really easy on her photo shoot because she was continuously smiling and she was laughing on all my jokes that I usually say during a photo shoot. And then her images were just like glowing. And then it was like so happy, the whole thing. Even when we got to her... to the part of the session when we do photos of her work, during her work, she was just like smiling and glowing, and then all her clients around her, they were smiling. So the whole photo shoot was happy. So it just do come across when you are nice and relaxed and what you want to represent.
Sounds like it's kind of on business, on us to bring that in, like to know how that connection between what we want our clients to feel and how we are going to represent that, because it is ours, and it is it's very personal. And to remember that's okay to bring those photos, and actually that's what's recommended and what we need to be doing.
Yes, exactly. I do have actually a workbook that my clients need to fill out before we actually start planning the photo shoot. So they have a general idea as well that what they want their photos to represent. So it does help them, and then it does help me as well to start planning the photo shoot.
What are some of the challenges around branding pet business photography?
People are still not aware that they need a brand photo shoot for their business. It is very surprising, but I do hear this a lot, that they just don't think that they need it. And they just use general stock photos. And then they're just not going to help their business, these stock photos. So I'm actually trying to educate these pet businesses that why they need a brand photo shoot and how it can help them. And the other challenge that I'm facing, as I mentioned, is that people are very camera shy, and then they just afraid to be in front of a camera and then what they have to do. This is why I actually created a package just around to help these sort of pet businesses who are just hate that photo taken.
Well, it is true. I mean, many of us do get into this because we love the pets and we actually like working behind the scenes. So like the very thought of getting our face branded and put it across our website is just like, you like want to run away and hide in a hole, right? And like, no.
But see, this is what I tell to these people, that if you're a service-based pet business, then you will be out there eventually meeting that client. So it doesn't matter if you already put it out on your website, because you're going to meet that client face to face. So there's no point of hiding.
We kind of forget that. It's amazing how quickly we forget that. We're like, no, I don't want my face out there. And you're like, but your clients are going to see you eventually. And you're like, oh yeah, I guess they are. Okay, right.
Yes, exactly.
But for some reason, it's when we get in front of that lens, in front of that camera, all of a sudden it makes it really serious. And we start psyching ourselves out and going, oh, this is a big deal. This is going to be here forever. And oh, what if I mess this up? And because it's going to be, not literally in black and white. There'll be colors in there too, I'm sure. But it really just kind of, it makes it front and center. And we overthink that process.
Mm. Yeah, that could be. But then again, if you choose the right photographer, then that's not going to be an issue at all.
Well, so yeah, talk to us about that. We're convinced that we need some good brand photos, and we want to go find somebody to do them. What makes a good photographer to do those photos for us?
So I would definitely recommend a photographer who actually does branding photography, because like a pet photographer, a lot of people think that, I just need a pet photographer. Well, no, you don't, because it's not just your pets that the photographer is taking photos of, and that a pet photographer usually doesn't take pictures of people, or not that often, and then they might not know how to pose you, especially for your business. And I would definitely choose a photographer who either done a brand photo shoot for a pet business or has a pet industry background, so understands what a pet owner needs.
And you mentioned there posing appropriately and standing. I know I always have that thought of like, okay, now what do I do with my hands? How do I hold my head? So what's the power of having a good position in a photo, and what do kind of different positions communicate to our clients?
So I don't really like to pose my clients, because then obviously if I pose you, then that's not going to be you. So I like to do a photo session when you are all natural. I might tell you, to sit there because that's a good location because of the lighting, or turn your head because of the lighting. But that's all that I would be doing. And then usually for pet businesses, you would have animals around you, and then it's just, believe it or not, it's going to go with the flow. If you have dogs around or cats around, then you will adjust to what they want to do, and then you're just going to get amazing photos.
These are much different than the standard stage photos that many of us have experience with. Like, it sounds like you're kind of following us in a day. The photographer is going to be following us in a day in our life and capturing photos throughout the day to get those kind of images.
So it's not a full day photo shoot that I'm doing. It's a longer photo shoot. It's a 3-hour photo shoot. And usually my photo shoots have 2 parts. One of them is a portrait session of you with your own animals together. And the other part is you at work. So again, because you are at work, you know what you're doing. It just goes with the flow. And I just take images around you while you work.
I think that helps, knowing how a session like this for a pet business branded photography session goes. I think that helps alleviate some of that stress of oh gosh, I'm going to be sitting on a stool with a really corny background of colors, and she's going to be telling me to tilt my head up and to the left and look in the middle distance, and we're going to
nothing like that. I don't even work in a studio, so it is all in your work area, whether that's indoors or outdoors. I do mainly outdoors, to be honest, but it's not a studio photo session. It's nothing like that. No.
Yeah. And that should give us confidence, right? And when we start, having these fears and these second guesses of like, oh gosh, like what are these going to look like? Reminding ourselves that part of how we run and operate our business, like the day-to-day operations, that is part of our brand. the processes, how we organize everything, how we interact with the dogs, that too is part of our brand. And what these photos sound like they're doing is that they're coming in and they're capturing that so that potential clients see that and are going to get that connection and that to communicate that to them.
Yes, exactly. And that's all that brand photography is about. It should be a storytelling photography, brand photography that tells a story of you and your work. Simple as that.
Oh, no, I absolutely love that idea of connecting the photos to a story, because many times we think about, oh, I've got to go write a blog to tell my story, or I've got to go live on Facebook, but that's terrifying because I've got to get in front of a camera, so I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to do this newsletter. Pulling these photos in of going, this is part of my story too. This is these expressions that I have on my face throughout the day, how I'm meeting the clients, how I'm interacting with them, that is all part of the story. So it really takes this idea of brand, and as you started with saying, it's everything. It's everything, and brand photography is trying to capture some of that and pull it down and communicate that to the people who we want to be communicating with.
Yes, exactly. It's just basically putting yourself out there in front of your ideal clients. And if people actually don't like what they see, then those are not your ideal clients, and then they're not going to waste your time.
and that's okay, right? We want that, and so it's kind of interesting to think about using our photos as a way of pre-filtering the clients that are coming into our contact forms, right? Of like that's an interesting and unique way of thinking about that. But we want that, right? We want to, if they don't like your photos, because you brand them accordingly, use them in the right manner, and that's going to connect with the people, and those are the people that you ultimately want to be working with, as you said. So we've talked about some of what brand photography is. I was wondering what are some myths around brand photography for business, or maybe some common misconceptions.
There are loads of myths around brand photography, and the number one is actually that you need to be photogenic. So I actually do hear this quite a lot, that I'm not photogenic, I'm not good in front of the camera. Well, you don't need to be a supermodel. You're not going in front of the Vogue magazine. So it's just you. You just have to be you. And then, as we just talked about, you are going to attract your ideal clients, and then they're going to love you for whatever you are. And then it doesn't have to be, as I said, a supermodel, because a supermodel is not going to take care of their pet. So it just really have to be you. I've been saying this a lot, but that's basically all of it that it comes down to. Yeah. The other big myth is that people think that they are too old or boring or unattractive to be the face of their own brand. But then, old compared to who? Or boring? Did actually someone say that to you, that you're boring? It's just an imposter syndrome for people, that they actually don't want to go out of their comfort zone and then put themselves out there. So, as I said, if you are a service-based business, your clients will see you. So there's no point in hiding.
That imposter syndrome is huge. And part of this, again, it's so interesting how when we start talking about photos and getting in front of the lens, all of these insecurities start bubbling up to the surface. When you say like, just be you, oh gosh, like that sentence, that phrase is so scary, especially if we don't even know who we are, or maybe, right? Or maybe we have a different perspective of who we think we are versus who we want to be, and then that imposter syndrome too of who am I? I'm not good enough. It's so fascinating how these simple things of a photo brings up all of those emotions and insecurities to the surface that as a business owner we don't typically work with because we're busy taking care of the pets, But that process, like that strengthening, that mindset work that almost has to happen before the photo shoot, like that's such a huge growth potential at a personal level And then being able to connect with the clients who you want to work with, that's really powerful at the business level.
Yes, exactly.
So it sounds like you do a lot of almost therapy sessions with some clients sometimes, working through that.
Yes. As I said to you in the beginning, it's a lot of education for people in the pet industry, because they just don't see that they do need a brand photo shoot, because as you said, they're just busy doing their work, taking care of the pets.
It takes a moment to work around that, but that opportunity, that potential for growth is really, really healthy as we become more comfortable with who we are as an individual, as a business owner, and everything that's tied up into that. To use these photos as a way of being proud of who we are and being able to put that out there.
Exactly. Once you're ready to accept it, then you're ready to actually grow your business, because with adding professional photos into your business, you are going to grow your business and take it to the next level.
That's absolutely fascinating. I love hearing about how something as simple as a photo can have such a profound impact, not just on our business, but on us as people, and all that's tied up into there. Petra, this has been an absolutely fascinating conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on and share with us a little bit about what branding photography looks like and some of your process too, and how it's actually not as scary as we tend to think. But if people want to reach out and get connected and ask some more questions, how best can they do that?
So either they can find me in the usual Facebook way, either on my page, or I actually do have a group which is called Pet Business Branding, or they can email me, which is Petra at petra-brandphotography.co.uk.
Awesome. And I will have links to that in the show notes and on our website, so people can click right through that and get in touch with you. Petra, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Photos do a lot for our business and for our brand. They are a direct connection where our clients can see us, whether that's in action, whether that's dog walking, whether that's grooming, whether that's whatever we want to showcase in our business. It's a way for people to instantly see us, see a face, recognize us. People buy from people, and they buy from people that they know and trust, and photos are key in that. I know it's uncomfortable getting in front of the lens. Trust me, I know it is a struggle for Megan and I as well. But when we think about putting our face out there, we want to make those connections and be part of that story that people are going to be buying from and connecting with. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Hope that you're able to take some of this away and start implementing it into your business this week or in the future. We want to thank our sponsors, Time to Pet and Pet Sitters International, for making this week's show possible. We want to hear feedback from you, how you use photos. Have you ever used a brand photographer and what that process was like for you? Send us an email at feedback@petsitterconfessional.com. Look us up on Facebook and Instagram at PetSitterConfessional as well. And check out our website, PetSitterConfessional.com, for a ton of more resources and ways to get connected with us. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. We'll be back again on Monday.